Alrighty, so for today, I'm going to be practicing in our sandbox account. All right, so today I'm going to start by doing a quotation first. The purpose of the quotation is just to get an estimate for the customer. We have an easy way to convert the quotation into a sales invoice, as denoted by this column right here. So this is just a history of all of the quotations I've done. You can see that some of them do have the invoice status and some do not have the invoice status. So really simply, to create a new quotation in AltheaSuite, just come up here to the top left to that new button. Once you get into here, it does want you to choose a customer on here. So this is the pretty much the only thing in here besides the stats over here that has a little red asterisk. This is one of our compulsory fields. So as far as the customer goes, you can type out the partials. So if I try to grab one of my favorite customers, Bill Nye over here, you start to populate there. If you start to type in a customer that doesn't exist, like maybe this Allen guy. I don't have any Allens in here because the little lookup value search would look up anything that has the word Allen in it. In this case, if you don't have the customer existing in your account, you can either backspace it right there or click the X, which will take it away, and this will turn into a little plus button. Once you see that plus button, you can click on that and you can quickly add a new customer. So once you get the customer in there, you can just type in the name in there. So really, the only thing that you need to put in here to create a new customer is by adding a name in here. But obviously, if you want to be able to email them something, we do need an email address. Or if you want to be able to contact them with their phone, we either need the phone numbers or any other those parameters down there. Now, as you can see down over here in my section over here, I have a smart address finder. So this is one of like our add-ons that we have. It's a Google Maps API key. If you guys have any information on that, or if you guys want any information on that, we can send you an email about that. But this will allow me to add an address finder on here, and all I have to do is just type in partials. And there we go. And some more addresses will kind of autofill over here. So that will save you some time when it comes to creating a new customer and adding a billing address. You can do the same thing for the shipping addresses too. You can add as many different shipping addresses as you need. So once you got the customer in there, you're going to press create. So create the customer in there and then plop the address on there. Now, as you notice, this little checkbox already got checked on for me. This does remember the last time you checked this box. So the last time I did a quotation, I had this box checked to use the billing address as a shipping address. But if you want to use a different shipping address, you just uncheck that and select a shipping address or add a new one, like I just showed you at the previous screen. So when it comes to adding a quotation on here, we do have some quotation statuses that if you want to utilize, these are just user generated that you want. Let's say I want to, say that this quotation has been converted. So I do have those statuses. So we have those statuses there for you guys to create on your own. We don't have any default statuses for quotes other than whether it's been invoiced or not. So as I come over here, I'm gonna get into our little item section over here. And most popularly, everybody wants to type in their item name in here. This could be like the name of the appliance or the furniture or the name of the model or the SKU number. So I'm just gonna drop down a few different items and select a few. Now this particular one that I showed up has a warranty attached to it. This is just a practice account that I have, but I do have some furniture warranties that I do apply to some of these warranty. I usually just hit that no warranty button and continue that way. Now, when I added this item into the grid, you can see over here, I have some columns over here. So you can dictate how many quantity of this item that I want. I could change the price. This is also settings based. So if you don't want your sales team to be able to manipulate the unit price, we can just turn on a setting to block that. But if I scroll over here, we also have a unit discount amount we can give. This can give this in the whole dollar amount, $10 off or do the inverse. Because I changed the price of the item, this also gave me another prompt for the warranty. So I can also do the same thing as a percentage, maybe 10% off, which will kind of reverse calculate into that $91 there. And again, the same pop-up will populate. And I do have some stock information over here. You can see I have -5 quantity on hand. This means that I already have this particular model on on other orders too. So there's some math calculating. So I will have to create some sort of back order or a stock order to get stocked to be able to convert this into the invoice properly. If you're ever confused about how much stock that you have for a particular item, we do have that option in our context menu. That's this little three-dotted menu right here. So if you click on this, we have that show stock button. You can click on that. You can see exactly how much stock you have. You can see it automatically went over to my pending POs to let you know that you do have two coming on an order. So we do have all this information ready at your fingertips to be able to look at exactly what kind of stock information that you need. So once you're ready for the quotation, you can see now that I put a discount amount on there, there was a little saving narration down for me, letting me know that the customer is saving that much money. This will also show up on the printed document as well once I create in print or create and then print later. So once you get that quote created, it's just to simply come over here to context menu, the little three-dotted menu, and we do have that create a sales invoice button. Once we do this, all this is going to do is just move the quotation into a new sales invoice. You can see I do have some stock information. Little stock warning, it's on error message. Just let me know that you have -4 quantity and now in hand, letting you know that you would have some sales invoices that I've had, but I need to get backfilled on stock for, which is fine because I want to do that eventually anyway. So I'm going to say yes to allow me to continue. So once we get into here, you can see the first thing you can see is a due date. So this is like a tentative date that the customer expects to get all the property, basically a change of hands, basically. This date can be set by default for today's date. You can also, go out into whenever the customer expects it to be due. Maybe 2 weeks from now, on the 29th, you can change that, and maybe you want to set it for all the items. So this date can be changed in the future, after we save the sales invoice and continue that. We can always change the due date on when the customer expects it. This due date is not necessarily the actual delivery date of the items. So continuing down, you can see that we have all of our customer information already in here, such as the billing address and all this. During the sales invoice process, if you create a new sales invoice without converting from a quotation, you will have to go through here and choose a customer and choose which kind of shipping address you want. So if you notice over here, we have this checkbox over here to be able to send a sales invoice or an email as a sales invoice to the customer. This is using our email formats that we have, and we can set up the formats to be set as soon as we save the invoice. So continuing down over here, we have the employee section. So by default, it's taking the made by employee as the made by customer over here on the sales invoice. So technically, I'm logged in my account as basic user. So if this was logged in as Gina, it would say Gina and so forth. So we have this field for made by for be able to use for reporting purposes. If you guys do take commissions, we can run a report based off the made by employee, or we can run a report based off of any of the associated employees that you might add into here. The added benefit for using the associated employee field is you can add more than one employee, maybe a service tag, and maybe also the basic user. So continuing down over here, here is the item that was on the quotation. Now we originally quoted the customer for just this this dresser right here, but we want to deliver this item to the customer. Maybe I want to add a delivery fee. So I have a few different selections. As soon as I add one of these, maybe I want to choose this one under 50 miles. So it's up to you if you want to set your service charges to be having one item or having multiple different delivery charges. We have different customers that do different things. And these ones are set at different price ranges. So if I choose a different SKU for this, it'd be a different price, but I could also change the price as well. So the difference between this item and this item is a service charge. It's not going to ask you if you want to deliver the service charge or if you want to have the customer come pick it up. And that's what these icons are asking here. So this first one over here is a checkbox to say that this item is delivered to the customer already. Once I save the invoice, there'll be a stock out of this particular model nut right here, this LCT. If I choose any of the other options, like a DL or a PK, the DL stands for a delivery and the PK stands for pickup. So these will go into our pending delivery queue or a pending pickup queue, deciding whatever you choose there. So I want to mark this to be delivered to the customer because I want to add a delivery charge in here. I could also add some other charges like a haul away charge or like removal fee. I can add as many different line items as I want for those service charges. So scrolling over here, there's that due fulfillment date I was talking about earlier. So again, we could change this due fulfillment date. Maybe this customer has a different dresser or maybe some other items. Then we can set the due fulfillment dates for each of those. Maybe they can be delivered out separately. But I'll be leaving it the same. So this is actually the date that I chose that I want to at least get the item fulfilled to the customer. So I chose October 29th. So that might be our future delivery date, or it could be around that time. So if I scroll to the right even more, we have a warehouse selection. This is settings based. I can tell the system which warehouse my item is actually coming from. I can set this all the way at the top of this document up here. by choosing which warehouse these items are going to be stocked out of. I can check that box to use for all my items, and that will kind of set the warehouses down here for that. So continuing on, here are some invoice fields that I have. These are just user fields that I have. I'm going to go ahead and pay now, but before I pay now, here's a setting that we have to allow you to capture a customer's digital signature. This setting can be a checkbox like that, or it can leave it compulsory where as soon as you try to pay now, a prompt will show up like this. So if I go down and check that and pay now, a little signature window will pop up. And we have a few different ways we can do this. We can capture this on an external device, like maybe I have like an iPad or an iPhone, something where the customer can touch themselves and write their signature on there. Or I can use this device if I was like on a tablet already, or a laptop that allows you to type on the screen. I can capture this on this device. So this is settings based too. Not everybody uses this, but we do have this ability to take a digital signature for the customer. So I'm just going to cross it out and continue. So this is the payment section of the sales invoice. This is where you need to show on how the money is going to get collected. So by default, I have it set as cash. So if I want to, I can take the full amount in cash. By hitting that black button with the white arrow, that will move everything from the pending amount into whatever amount field that I have. Now, if I made a mistake and I don't want to take all this money, our previous customers in the past have made a mistake of trying to go to a different payment mode and try to add the money back to there. But what you need to do is go to the payment mode that you were at originally and just backspace it out, and then click either in the gray area or in the white area, and that'll reset that to the pending amount. So we also allow you to split up this payment. So let's say I want to put down $100 as cash payment. I could potentially go over here and maybe put down some money as the card payment. This card payment is a technically a manual process. It's just telling you that you're taking this payment down in AltheaSuite. We do have integrations with Clover devices, so this button might look differently in your account. So here is a cash payment of $100 and a card payment of $100 as well. And if I wanted to, I could take other previous payments like a check payment, or what I could do is go to my balance payment mode. Come over here. I have a system set available limit of $100,000. So this will definitely cover that rest of the pending amount. So you can set this for the default for everybody, or you can go to their individual customer accounts to set their balance limit there. But potentially, I could throw the rest of this as a balance, and this will be $751.67 that the customer will eventually owe me. So this will be a pending amount that will go on to the customer's Alan Doe's account there. So every customer in your account has a credit account and a debit account, or a debit balance account, and you'll be able to see those numbers pretty accurately if you go to the ledger. But what I'll do is save and print. This is a setting I also have in my account where I can select what kind of different print that I want. So here's my little printout that I have. This is one of the ones that have a serial number. So we have multiple different prints that we have available in AltheaSuite out of the box. And this is just the basic one that we have. This one will have the columns for serial number and also all my payment details at the bottom. So we do have that available. But if I go back to AltheaSuite, you can see that quotation now says invoice. So that conversion already happened. The conversion really happened after we converted the quotation into an invoice and then saved the invoice. So now if we go back to that sales invoice, it's going to be this very first one. You can see it's for Alan Doe. There's this invoice number. If I scroll to the right, let me do this. There's my dispatch status. It says partial right now because technically we put a service item onto my invoice, and that service item was a delivery charge. And technically in AltheaSuite, the delivery charges are going to get counted as already delivered once you save the invoice. If you're ever confused on why it says partial, if you scroll to the left and click on the invoice number by clicking into the actual document number, or we could go to the context menu over here and click on view. Those will do the same thing, but I'll click on the actual document number. Once we get into here, if you look at the delivery column over here, we have a delivered. So this is saying that the delivery charge is technically already delivered to the customer. And we have a to be delivered status over here, which will let us know that we still need to deliver this actual item over there. But if you saw over there on the invoice page, you can see my little color code over here is red, letting me know that I'm short stock for this particular invoice, so I couldn't deliver that out. I would have to create a backorder PO and then deliver, get that PO in and receive it. And if a serial number is required, I would need to record that. If it's just a furniture item like it is now, I just basically just need to wait for the truck to come in and fulfill my warehouse so I can get that onto a trip or onto the calendar to get that delivered to my customer. That would get covered in the next following days here. So I've also looked to the right. We have a column for payment status. So this one says pending. So there's still a pending amount of 751 and 67 cents to get covered. So here. So to get that amount to get down to zero for the customer to pay it off, there's a couple ways you can get there. The first main way is if you go to the actual invoice of the customer. So this is Alan Doe for invoice 170. I can go to the context menu and then up near the top of it, or actually near the bottom of it, is an option to receive payment. So this is one way we can get there. So as soon as we click onto this from the context menu of the sales invoice, it's already going to consider the customer already there. So Alan Doe gets automatically populated, and you can see his basically his ledger information. So he doesn't have any credits right now. He does have a total pending amount of that. And if you want to start to clear out the pending amount, what we need to do is check on the checkbox of the sales invoice. So if Alan had other sales invoices, it will kind of list them down depending on the number of days they're past due. So that's going to go in ascending order from the most that he is past due. So when it comes to paying this amount, you can see that this little adjusted pending amount, it used to be gray, but as soon as you check that box, it opens up. So it's up to you if you want to pay down the whole amount. We could take a partial payment. Maybe we want to take half of it or at least half of it, maybe $350. This won't reduce it, obviously, from the 751, but it will take away from this pending amount. So it's up to you if you want to adjust the pending amount or if you want to take the whole amount there. So 751.67. That'll make that whole. And it's up to you on how you want the customer to basically give you the money there. So you just need to choose on how you want to collect it from the customer. Maybe he wants to pay by check this time. So we have that's a check module. Actually, we want to do this one. So this is the custom payment mode that we have. All we need to do, this is the most commonly way our customers are taking checks. We do have a whole check module, but it can get kind of complex because it wants you to deposit a check and then mark it cleared and all that. But we have a simple way where we can just make a check payment mode like right here. And we could also connect this payment mode to a specific bank account, or if you want to leave it just a system generated account that we have in there, we can do that as well. So what our customers commonly do is they'll just put down the amount over there by using the black button with the white arrow, and then in the details field, you can see what I got populated there. You can just put the check number there. So this is the most commonly way that our customers are taking checks this way by using that payment mode, and then they'll just have the details in there like that. So once we do that, this is a received payment, and this is how we would collect from a customer by going from the actual context menu, receive payments. So as soon as we do that, that'll update the sales invoice module. Now, if I scroll to the right even more, you can see that payment now has been cleared. So the other way to collect or receive payment from a customer for this invoice is we actually have the module itself within your sales module. So it's called receive payments there. And as soon as you click into the module itself, you'll get a history of all of the previous return payments or receive payments you've done before. So what I want to do is do a new one. And then in here, you just need to choose a customer. So if I chose Alan again, you can see Alan has 0 records because we just paid off his invoice that we had on there as a balance before. So if Alan had other invoices on a balance, they would be all listed down in here. And then you can decide on how you want to collect their payment that way. So if I show you this, if I click over here and choose another customer, maybe Bill Nye, you can see, oh dear, Bill Nye's got 6 records and he owes me pretty much all this money. So it's up to you if you want to collect all of the money all at once or kind of go to each one of them and kind of make a payment that way. We can definitely do that. So let's receive payments. So the next thing I want to show you is by going back into my sales invoices. And again, going to the context menu over here, we have a lot of different options. And one of them is to issue a sales return over here, but I won't issue a sales return on this one because we haven't never delivered it. So I'm gonna go and find another sales invoice, maybe this one right here, maybe this one. Here we go. This is a good one. So we have this invoice right here, invoice 155. Got all these items in here. Maybe this particular customer, his name is Dave. Dave doesn't want to have, maybe he wants to return his freezer because something happened to it. So what we could do is go back. And the same thing with the receipt payments, we either have a context menu where we can go over here to the context menu of the invoice that we were talking about and issue a sales return up there. Or in this case, we have a way where we can go into a sales return section. There's one below the sales invoice over there into sales returns. So if we do it this way and hit that new button over there, it wants us to know which invoice number it is. So I think that was 155. There it is. So there's Dave, so it got populated. So if the customer happened to know what the invoice number was, you can go ahead and populate it. Or if you didn't have any idea what invoice number it was, we could go to the customer, type in Dave, get Dave to populate, and then go up here to the invoice number and choose which invoice of Dave's that you want to do. So we want to do 155. We do have also the option to allow this to return without an invoice. Maybe he didn't know what his invoice number is, or maybe the invoice got lost and you don't have any record of it. So we do have that checkbox to allow you to do that. But we're going to be working off of invoice 155. Now on this invoice, there's a few different items. So this will only allow you to select which items that are actually on the invoice itself. So I said that he wants to return the chest freezer. We can do that. There was the price that was on the invoice over here. Now we do have some settings to allow you to take a restocking fee or a service fee. So maybe this freezer takes a lot of space, so maybe $100 restocking fee, and maybe we want to charge them a $25 service fee for doing that return on this. So now the pending amount is 535, and now this function wants you basically just to give the customer back this amount. So you can choose what kind of function that you want to do for the sales return. Maybe I want to throw this on the customer's account, which is a commonly one that everybody wants to do just by giving them credit. So instead of giving it back in cash or writing a check for 535, I'm just going to throw this as credit onto my customer's account there. Once you do that, again, we have the same option. This is also settings based where we can capture a signature on the actual sales return itself. But if that's not required, simply hit that create button and that will initiate the sales return. Now, what that will do is on the actual invoice itself, if I put this in the view mode, we have a column over here for an actual return quantity. So you can see these three are 0, but this one has a 1 quantity on the return, showing that there's a return on this item and that the delivered little status got taken off that as well. So there now technically is a stock in for this particular item that I have over here in my chest freezer there. So, and the customer also got his credit account. So now the next time that Dave isn't on a sales invoice, if he wants to use any of that credit that I just gave him on any new future purchases, he can actually do that himself. So I know I covered quite a bit with that first 20 or 30 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, you can speak up now or type in the chat if you guys don't have microphone access. All right, one other thing that I want to cover before we conclude today's little training session is talking about finance agencies. So finance agencies in my account, they're also found in your sales module. So if we go into finance agencies, you can see I have 4. So I have a SEMA, I have a GE one that I use for different purposes, this financing that I have, and then the Synchrony one. So I think Synchrony is mostly the commonly one that's used day-to-day basis. So if I go over here and create a new invoice, we'll go ahead and choose that Alan guy. Here we go. Same information. I'm going to use his billing address as a shipping address. Go and grab another item. Maybe this dresser right here. Again, this has a warranty. I'm going to say no warranty for now. This is another stock warning. It's letting me know I have 0 quantity available, which is fine. Maybe we want to order that and mark this for it to be delivered to the customer. Maybe he wants to get this due maybe by this Friday. So again, this is like a tentative date. It's not necessarily going to be the delivery date. You can just set, maybe, at least some sort of heading there for the due fulfillment date. So this time I want to go to the pay now. I'm going to go over into this mode that we have. It's called financing, or excuse me, finance agency. I think this financing is a custom mode. So once you get the finance agency payment mode over there, you're going to get this little drop down. This drop down is going to have only the 4 that I have on there. So whatever finance agencies that you create in that module, you can add them in there. Now, if you didn't have them existing over here, you could click this middle button over here. This middle button will navigate you to the same screen I was in previously, where you can create a new finance agency. It's very simple. Just hit that new button. And all you really need to do is get an agency name in here. So this could be like Snap, or it could be First Finance, whatever kind of agency that you want to use. And the rest of these parameters are optional if you want to add a description or an email or You want to put their address on there. We do have this balance limiter too. So if you want to consider a certain balance that you don't want a customer to go over, maybe this is set by you guys or maybe the actual agency itself. So we do have that there if you need it. So when it comes to adding the actual agency, it's just basically a drop down. So drop it down and then hit that synchrony. And then here you basically just want to tell it how much amount that you want to cover. So maybe you won't want to try and get the whole amount. So 933.61. You'll see now that the pending amount says 0, and now that we have a finance agency of 933.61, we're able to save this invoice because we have a $0 balance amount. So I'm gonna hit that save button. Now, once we save the invoice, technically when we saved it by using the agency, there is still technically a pending amount due of 933.61 because technically you never really received the money yet. Maybe the Synchrony will send you this money in the future. So we actually do have a process to be able to basically zero out these invoices. We can do that by going into receive payments. And then we have this receive payments from the finance agency, letting you know. Oop, I think I missed a question. We momentarily read Gina's mail there. Yes, yes, yes. When I move that credit amount to the customer, I'll go back to this finance agency. Whenever I gave that customer, it was, I believe, Dave Matthews over here. Whenever I gave Dave that credit on his account, we do now have a way to be able to issue a check to the customer. So if I type in Dave Matthews, we can go to the context menu. So I'm on the customer manager right now. So if we go to the context menu over there, we have a way to issue a check. Might not be in my account because I need to get it updated, but we have a way to now issue oh, there we go, print check to return advanced amount. So I'm not sure if it's set up in my account. I would have to do a return check. There's a way, I'll, we could elaborate that later. I don't have a way to show you right now, but we have a new way where we can set up a print format. We basically copy either your current check print that you do to either do bill payments or to make payments to suppliers. We can take a copy of that check and put that as a format for you guys to issue checks that way and show it in the system that you guys gave him the check. And that check will show up on deposits. It's a great question, Gina. We might have to circle back on that. Is that what you're wanting to do to issue a check by using the advanced amount? Yeah, perfect. All right. I can send you some more information on that. I might need to make a tutorial about that. All right. So go back to the receive payments. So in order for you to clear the invoice out with the receive payment over there is by going into receive payments from finance agency. And then what over here, it wants you to choose the agency. So in this case, we want to choose Synchrony. Now, when I chose Synchrony, it's going to bring up all the invoices that I've chosen Synchrony as a finance agency on. So in this case, this is for Alan Doe for the invoice that we just created for 933.61. Now we're basically going to show in the system AltheaSuite how we got this money. So in this case, I have I should have had this payment road. I have an ACH payment that I could tie to one of my bank accounts that I chose on there. It could be any one of your bank accounts. I think I have a Bank of America account associated with this. It's not directly connected to my bank account. It's just showing in Altea Suite the financial transaction that I got in money basically from Synchrony into that account. So that's exactly what I'm going to show you here. So this pending amount for 933.61 basically when I hit this create button, it's saying that I got that money and it hit my account. So now we can clear out that invoice. The customer still owes 933.61 to Synchrony, but as far as their invoice goes in my system, I'm gonna mark it as cleared because we got that payment in maybe a couple days or maybe a week later. I'm not sure exactly sure when Synchrony does that. I think it's different for everybody. But now if I go back to that sales invoice, wait for it to load. All right, so if I go over here, so here's 171. I just did. You can see now its payment has been cleared and it has that $0 pending amount there. So that's showing now in AltheaSuite that's been cleared. As far as us goes, this invoice is cleared, but for the customer, obviously he still has a contract with Synchrony, so he's be paying that down, however, but we're not regarded with that. We still have a dispatch test to deal with. And to finish out this invoice, what we'll need to do is, first get stock for this to turn green. I think I have a green one down over here. So this one is for invoice 160. Whenever my color in my system has a greenness, let me know that this invoice can be put on a delivery and delivered out to the customer, which will then turn into this purple color. These are our system default colors, letting you know that this invoice has been finished. So I won't go too further into that. I'll leave it up, open up to questions now. So because I want to go ask any specific questions, what I just covered, you know, let me know now. Well, this is pretty much all I had to cover today. Like I said, we're going to be having other trainings. So tomorrow, I believe it's going to be, I think it's going to be with Deepa. She's going to go over the complete purchases workflow. So she's going to go in lieu of this to show you guys exactly on how to deal with all the back ordering and how to get these invoices to be green in order to either put them on the calendar, deliver them out, or put them on a trip to get them to show that they've been delivered. And then I'll reiterate also. Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Gina. So just look out for those invitations. I believe we're going to set out another round for tomorrow. It's going to be around the same time, so 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I believe that's what, 9, 10, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, and so forth.
I believe that's going to be Thursday.
Oh, is it Thursday? Oh, it is Thursday,
Yeah,
not tomorrow. I misspoke. It's Thursday.
that's okay.
Yeah. So Thursday the 16th. Oh, actually, no, it'd be Thursday the
17th.
17th. So my email is incorrect there. Uh, yeah, 17th and 18th are going to be the next two trainings. And because you guys can always send in emails for any questions, or if you guys have any things urgency, you guys can give us a call on the support line. So thank you guys. That's all I had to show. Is there any other questions? We'll leave it open for the next 2 minutes, and then I'll go ahead and conclude today's training. I'll go ahead and stop the